Truth man here. So I was watching this on my phone, and I want to react to this as being a former football player from a young age, on a little bit past high school. And so I want to react to what they were saying on here. And I want to show y'all why I agree with Richard Sherman.
Are you catching any balls on the numbers or everything you doing in the slot? When you're in the slot, I got the whole field to work with. I'm running shallow crosses, deep crosses. When I line up on them outside numbers, I'm out there with a man. A full-grown man with a full beard with baby car seats looking to do something to you. Totally different.
Let me ask you one question then.
Totally different.
Would you rather have a guy with 20 sacks or receiving
20 sacks, not even question.
Are you joking?
Not even question.
You would take a...
Not even question.
And I agree with him right there. Let me tell you, you gonna win more games if you got a player with 20 sacks over an offensive player with 20 touchdowns. Like, even if you playing Madden, and I know from even playing video games, that you got a dude on your defense with 20 sacks, you gonna win more games than if you had a receiver with 20 touchdowns, because that guy with the 20 sacks, that's 20 times that he stopped touchdown. Now, you gonna have receivers on your team that's gonna score sometime. That's just the nature of the game. You got the worst offense in the game, and you're not gonna get shut out by everybody.
Let me ask you one question then.
Totally different.
Would you rather have a guy with 20 sacks or receiving
20 sacks, not even question.
Are you joking?
Not even question.
You would take a...
Not even question.
Michael. Game changer.
I can't even talk about it.
The pass rush is the antidote to the quarterback. It's the one thing that can stymie the quarterback from doing what he does.
Yeah. The 20 sacks gonna stop the 20 touchdowns.
That's what you just told me. A sack is not taking up to a touchdown.
You going to? Can you fluff touchdowns? We just talked about it. Can you fluff touchdowns?
Yes.
You cannot fluff them sacks, boy. You cannot fluff them sacks.
But if I'm drafted playmaker, if I'm drafted and I got my board on the room, and I got, if I'm drafted and as being the #1 overall pick as a receiver, and this is me talking now, I'm proud to be the #1 overall pick as a receiver.
Go ahead,
But if I'm drafted and I got a receiver on the board, and I got a pass rusher, left tackle, shut down corner.
No, I'm
not. I'm not talking about supply and demand. I'm talking about the value. A pass rusher has more, but TJ Watt, Bosa's, at the height of a Khalil Mack, they got more value than we do. That's all I'm saying.
And when I say supply and demand, only because we feel that it's harder to find a pass rusher than it is to receive.
Absolutely.
I'm saying the great receiver brings you. I'd rather take the 20 touchdowns over the 20 sacks. You know what? How many times have we seen a receiver score 20 touchdowns? We've seen many teams have guys with 20 sacks and they went nowhere. Now let's pick up and find out how many times the team won guys scored 20 sacks.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that. I mean, you have, but not as much as he's saying. Because even watching football, everybody know the two things that win the Super Bowl usually is when you run the ball and you got a good defense, not a receiver. Okay, if that's the case, then as good as Justin Jefferson is, why can't the Vikings even get out of the first round of the playoff?
I guarantee that team.
So you look in the Super Bowl, you're going to find the team with the highest sacks. 70 sacks last year. Philadelphia Eagles.
We ain't talking about the team. I'm talking about the individual.
Yeah.
We're moving the argument. We're not talking about the team. We're talking about the individual.
Take off your glasses, man.
I don't know.
So here's the irony of this. Would you believe? Do you remember who drafted you, who was still running that draft room when you went in the draft?
Gil Brandt.
Gil Brandt, thank you. What was he infamous for? His statement that you could find a receiver on any street corner.
That's what it is. That's what
He said you can find a receiver on any street corner. You ain't gonna find no pass rusher though. Now let me just play it because I'm getting ahead of myself. What I was about to say. So let's continue what they were saying.
You can't find my
Well, I know you can't find you. But I will say this. You will be the last.
And this is an old video, by the way. But still, I want to talk about it.
Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. got you. You know what? I'll say something to piss you off right now.
What you got?
A corner is a harder position.
See, now I gotta go, Mike. I gotta get it.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this with you. I swear it's not rehearsed.
No, hold on. This ain't rehearsed.
But I promise.
Richard Sherman was probably fun to be around in the locker room. He probably was always starting stuff, man. And that probably used to be funny.
Skip, let me just talk to you real quick. I want to get you in on this.
Yeah.
I can't believe you tried to do
See, Keyshawn was on his side at first till he said that.
No, Mike,
Go ahead.
Mike.
Let y'all talk.
You said it's a harder position.
Harder position.
Harder position. What did you start off at?
Receiver.
Okay. What does that say? You play receiver, you couldn't play it at the level that got you to where you are. So you went to corner because it was much easier to do.
Well, you ain't
Why
got
you
to
start?
all
All you gotta do is run with somebody. All you gotta do is
Not true. Now I'm about to get into what I'm saying. So my experience at receiver is limited other than playing outside sandlot football. But even just playing sandlot football, what Richard Sherman was saying is obvious, because in sandlot football, you playing receiver, you just trying to run out there, catch passes, score a touchdown. But when you play a corner, you got to stop them from scoring touchdown. You got to worry about people coming out there blocking you. Like at corner, and that was my main position when I used to play. You got offensive linemen coming at you. You have tight ends coming at you, fullback coming at you, even quarterbacks. I got pancaked by a quarterback on the trick play before. Coldest play I ever seen. They went one way, he turned around, came right after me. Boom. And I still reached out and grabbed the running back, pulled him down by the ankle. They brought out the chains. He was short. But one false move at corner, you giving up first downs or touchdowns, or even both, practically. Because, but receiver, you just basically trying to help get first down. Show me one time that a team won the Super Bowl merely with offense. Now, you heard what he said. The Eagles had 70 sacks last year. 70 sacks. Like I say, you run the ball. They didn't win until they got Saquon Barkley. They had LaShawn McCoy. But like he said, when they had LaShawn McCoy, they ain't had no cornerbacks like that. When they had Saquon, they drafted Cooper DeJean and the other dude from Toledo, and both of them dudes was lights out their first year. Along with the pass rush, along with the good linebacker play. Now, I ain't gonna lie, the Eagles did kind of trash talk their way. But they did what they had to do, in particular on that defense with them cornerbacks. Now corner, he said corner is a harder position to play. One reason, because if you don't got no pass rush, the quarterback is sitting back there all day, just able to pick you off, just pick on you play after play. You got to be able to stand your ground, whether you got a pass rush or not. And that's why, like, when I played cornerback, the most important thing I would say was just staying in coverage, keeping the right angles, and being the proper level of instinctive. You don't want to take too many risks because you'll get burnt. But you want to take enough risk to make plays. That's what separates the Richard Sherman and the Deion Sanders, both by the way, won Super Bowl. Now, Michael Irvin won a lot of Super Bowl. Keyshawn Johnson, did he even win any? I'm not sure. Was he on the Cowboys when they won? I'm not sure.
Somebody got safety over there to help him.
Look at him.
Eyes look back at the quarterback and flow. Keep your hips to the sideline.
So
Stop it,
So
Richard.
the reason I moved positions is because I didn't want to be dependent on somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to be.
Nice try.
I didn't want to be dependent on somebody else.
He said, "Nice try."
You know what I wanted to do?
You know what?
I wanted to make sure that I impacted every play. I didn't want a lot of breaks. I didn't want to take off. Hey, it's a 10-play series. You play corner, I'm on the field for 10 plays. It's a 60-play game. I'm on the field for 60 plays.
I can recall a time in high school we played in Wisconsin. The predominantly white schools normally dominate the city conference, kindly because of coaching, because the city conference just run right at them, and they bigger and stronger when they should be using their speed and their athletic ability to beat them. That's what I would do if I was coaching in the city conference. And then they make it where you got to be an employee of the school, the MPS, Milwaukee Public Schools, to be a coach. But the reason why they beat the Milwaukee Public Schools is in part because them dudes be way bigger and ain't no pass rush. They got all the time in the world. And a lot of the guys that play corner, they're not really being coached by guys that know how to play corner. When you got a guy that know how to play corner, if he the coach, he gonna affect the quarterback. He gonna affect everything on the field. Show me a coach that was a wide receiver that did anything. It'd be the coaches that used to be linebackers, the coaches that never even really played, and the coaches that be cornerbacks. Case in point, Coach Prime. Everywhere Coach Prime go, he turned the program around. Because the cornerback usually understands the whole game of football. Now, look at his face. Did he look like somebody that don't know? Now, he look like he trying to agitate people. But do he look like somebody that don't know what he talking about? Like he mentioned the 70 sacks. How would he even know that? Because I'm telling you, cornerbacks, a good corner is going to study the game, period.
I got to give you love here. I know you just started this business, but you need to make that vital point right in the camera, right to your people. I don't know how to get you on that, but I got to give you the love on that. But it ain't worth it. The cornerbacks are not the one. Don't even talk, but I got to give you
Guys move positions from the receiver position.
Cornerbacks are the key reason why people get what we call coverage sacks. And I can say that during my, the little plan I did, me being a shutdown corner, if you will, I became a shutdown corner. And if I would have been thinking right, I would have went further. Now, a lot of coverage sack. Like you could see it back there. Like when the receiver can't get open, you just see the offensive line, defensive line up there fighting, and you see the quarterback going down. It's called coverage sacks. A coverage sack is basically when your coverage caused the sack. So another thing, like, okay, speaking of the Cowboys, let's look at them. They got Dak Prescott carving people. Always got good receivers, at least one. But they had the defense, they had Dak. They didn't really do nothing because their running game was faltering. The running game was faltering, and because they didn't really have like the cornerback that would have put them over the top in terms. If they would have had like a Richard Sherman type on them Cowboys with Dak and CD Lamb, you say, well, Diggs is good, but he not Richard Sherman. He not Richard Sherman, man. With the running game, come on now. Let's look at the Chiefs. Let's look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs, and I'm not putting down their wins. But one reason why the Chiefs be beating people? Because Patrick Mahomes ain't going against this type of player. Show me the cornerbacks that Patrick Mahomes don't win against. Show me where he beat this type of dude in his prime. Just like the Bengals. When the Bengals get a cornerback, if Chase and the rest of them receivers, if they still operate like that, if the quarterback play is still what it is, and they get like a shutdown corner, see the Bengals, they losing because of defense. They offense be keeping them in them games. They ain't got no cornerback. They ain't got no cornerback. Their defense sucks. But wait till they get a defense. And I'm going to show you another team you better watch. Them Atlanta Falcons, baby. You better watch them because they got their quarterback. They got their running back. They got the running game now. Now they starting to add those receivers. They got the tight end. Or if he's still there, is he still there? When they get a cornerback, this type of player, better watch out for them. I'm telling you. Look at the Patriots that year. When that Butler, what's his name? Butler stepped up, they went all the way. That dude was making plays. Yeah, Brady, they got Brady, of course. But the Patriots had Willie McGinnis some of them years. They had all, dude, come on, man. You say, well, the Patriots never had no receivers. They had Brady. They ain't need him. They had Brady. See, a Justin Jefferson type is going to keep you in the game. But a Richard Sherman type, you're going to win the game. I'm telling you, man. This coming from somebody that played and somebody that an avid sports fan. Look at the Eagles. He wanted to bring up the Eagles, and I'm going to back him. If they wouldn't have drafted those two cornerbacks and them dudes shined and showed, they would have lost, even with Saquon. But here's the thing. Not only did those cornerbacks, they was getting a lot of coverage sacks. I was watching the games, man. The Eagles sometimes will only rush 4 people and still get enough pressure or the sack because they corners them. The receivers wasn't open. So I gotta agree with him on this, man. Gotta agree with him. And so you telling me that the Cowboys would have won the Super Bowl without Deion Sanders? You telling me the 49ers would have? Okay, if the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl with that team without Deion Sanders, then why didn't they do it then? They was winning when they had Ronnie Lott, another defensive back. When they had, I can't remember their names at corner, but those dudes was good. Look at the Packers. With Brett Favre, we had Craig Newsome on one side. We had Evans on the other side. And boy, they was locking it down. We won the Super Bowl. Look at what Aaron Rodgers. We didn't win with Aaron Rodgers till they got Charles Woodson. See? I'm telling you, man. Once they got Charles Woodson played better for us than he did for the Raiders. And he was good with the Raiders. Okay, even then. That controversial play with Brady, he fumbled, man. That's why Brady ain't the GOAT. He's second. He fumbled when Charles Woodson stripped him. He fumbled. You see what I'm talking about? Cornerbacks, one of the best plays when I played in the minor league, I was the hybrid. I would come on the blitz. When I came on that blitz, I would say 80% of the time, I messed the play up. 80 or 90%. I messed the whole play up that they tried to do on offense. Now, if they would have made Brady fumble, who's to say that the Raiders, how good they were that year, they would have won the Super Bowl? Now, you got some exceptions like the time they had, let me see. No, they had cornerbacks back then too. So I was going to bring up Marcus Allen. Even with the Redskins, right? You telling me the Redskins would have won without Darryl Green? No. I can't think. Look. Those of you in my age group, remember Eric Coryell with Dan Fouts throwing the ball all over the place? How many Super Bowls they win? You know why? We don't even remember who was the cornerbacks on there. Legion of Boom. Was they gonna win without Richard Sherman? They would have been good, but they wasn't gonna win no Super Bowl. The cornerback is the hardest position. And as far as receiver, cornerback, he's right. It's way harder to play corner. Just even playing with nothing at stake. And then mentally, you get beat, you got to come back. You can't be like, man, I suck, I'm finna quit. When you get beat, now I ain't get beat that many times, but when you do get beat, you got to be able to come back. Case in point, I can go back to a game in high school. We was playing against Juno here in Milwaukee. Now, neither one of us had the best record, but I got beat on the play, right? I came back. That was the best game I had in high school. But it was after I got beat that I just kept playing. Stopped that first down. Just had a good game overall. They had a running back, 6'5", like practically 300 pounds, and was fast. His name was Smith. Now, I learned back then, so they had a play that I figured out what they kept trying to do. They kept trying to run that same play. So we in double overtime in high school. They tried to run that play. I stopped it. But before I stopped it, they called a bunk pass interference play on me because my coverage was so good, the ref was froze. He didn't know what to do. He threw a flag because I went underneath the receiver and I timed the ball. I didn't even touch the receiver. I just slid underneath and the referee called a pass interference. So the coach took me out the game. So I was mad because I knew it wasn't no pass interference because I knew I ain't even touch it. I threw my helmet. He said, man, quit acting like a bitch and get back in the game. I got back in there. It's double overtime. That's why another reason I was so mad, because we in overtime and he calling weak stuff. So they tried that play and I stopped it. And then we won the game because I stopped that little trick play that they tried to do again. Them dudes picked me up on their shoulders. We beat them in double overtime. What position was I playing? Corner. See? So I know what he's saying. Receiver is important, but it's harder to be a corner.